We believe there is an urgent need for people to overcome oppression and violence without resorting to violence and oppression.
We believe that we need to discover a way to live together in peace, a way in which rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation.
The foundation of this way is love.
One of the saddest days of my life, one of the worst days of my public career. That front page has photographs of the 20 beautiful children who were lost in that unspeakable act of terror and horror. They are 20 wonderful human beings who would be 11 years old today. You know how deeply that pain is still felt. The healing is far from over. Prayers and thoughts are not enough. Never have been after any of these massacres, never will be after any of the mass killings or the one-by-one deaths in our communities, 90 every day in this great country. Let us rededicate ourselves to action. Honor those victims with action. Honor all victims with action. It is never too soon to honor the victims with action.
What is the end goal you believe everyone should be striving for to end gun violence?
I think it comes down to education. Individuals from an early age need to be educated on what a gun can do, how to safely handle a firearm, what to avoid, what not to avoid, show the deadly consequences if you use that gun for protection. There will be lives that will be affected. So I think really educating people from an early age.
Where do you stand on the Second Amendment?
Moms Demand Action supports the Second Amendment, but believes that there are many things we can do that are completely consistent with the Second Amendment, but which we know can bring down the unacceptable level of gun violence in our country.
How do you think you'd feel if you were a student hearing about all of the negative actions happening with guns in the U.S. right now? For example, for as long as we've been in school, we practice and are regularly reminded about where we are to hide if someone were to come into our school armed.
I think I would feel good because obviously the school is taking your safety very seriously. And I know, as being a former law enforcement officer and being involved in criminal justice system, that the criminal justice system is always taken school safety seriously, and the police here locally and in many other places are doing drills, school safety drills, and I'm sure your drills have shown you how you can protect yourself. Students banding together against a gunman and stopping that gunman, and it empowers you. If you're empowered, you don't have to live in fear.
What is Moms Demand Action?
Moms Demand Action is a grassroots movement led by American mothers who want to reduce gun violence in our country.
Why did you join this organization?
I joined this organization after the Sandy Hook massacre in 2012. I had 3 kids in elementary school at that time, and I was shocked and appalled and devastated that such a thing could happen in this country. And I set about trying to figure out why, how something like that could happen, how our legislature could fail to do anything about it, and what I could do to change it.
How do you feel about school lockdown drills?
Very necessary. Not just for things that happen inside the school, but say here at Batchelor Middle School, you all are on the south side of Bloomington, but there are areas around this school that may experience some type of threat or some type of danger. Say that something happens like a burglary or some type of robbery in the area, and that person who police suspect is involved is on the run. Well, what better place to go and hide or take a hostage than in a school? So lockdown drills are completely necessary. If something like that happens, a lockdown drill goes into effect. Hopefully the school and the students have practiced what they are going to do and they know exactly where to go. It's another way just to keep everybody safe.
A story this morning about House Republicans saying when it comes to votes concerning gun legislation, it probably won't happen until after the summer. Are you surprised by that? And where do you think Democrats, how do you think they should respond?
Well, I can't say I'm surprised. For someone from Connecticut to see the Sandy Hook killings go by where 20 first and second graders were murdered and nothing happened. And then, of course, San Bernardino, and nothing happened, and all these mass killings, and nothing happens. I can't say I'm surprised. This is obviously a very long project at convincing people that we can do commonsensical gun safety regulation that in no way impinges with their Second Amendment rights. But sadly, the Republican majority doesn't see it that way. And look, now we're going into election season, and this is going to be something we're going to talk about, because what we asked for, universal background checks. No matter where you buy a gun, we check you out to make sure you're not a criminal or violent. And no fly, no buy. If you're on the terrorist watch list, you don't buy a gun. These are measures that are supported by well in excess of 80% of Americans. And where I work in the House of Representatives, we're supposed to do the people's will. And in this case, the majority has prevented that from happening. So we'll be holding them accountable for that in the upcoming election.
But
if
we stand
together,
we
might turn
this world around.
Compromise is not about losing. It is about deciding that the other person has just as much right to be happy with the end result as you do. Donna Martini. A compromise needs to be made as a nation.
We cannot be separated in interest or divided in purpose.
We stand together until the end.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place be much brighter than tomorrow.